Um, okay, so that looks pretty cool. If you don't want it to be so intense, you could bring the the colors down a little bit. That's up to you. I'm gonna leave it somewhat intense. I'm gonna leave mine around 80. I think Marty left his at 100, so maybe Photopea and Photoshop worked a little bit different with this, but whatever. All right, so oh, I know what he did. We dragged this mask up to the top here. All right, so actually, we're going to do this a couple times. So I want to apply the same mask that we have on this layer to all these other layers that are up here. So to do that, if I select the mask, I click on the mask. If I hold the Alt or Option key, I could drag these up. So now when I let go, you'll be able to see. So I held Alt or Option and I drag these up to these other layers. Now the color only works inside the area and you can see these stars aren't colorized anymore out there. That looks a lot better. I like it. All right. I'm going to end up merging all these layers together. So I'm going to go to the top layer, and if I want to merge a bunch of layers at the same time, I'm going to the top layer, and I'm going to go all the way down to layer 3, which is my twirl layer. All right, I'm leaving this one unchecked. So I select the top layer, I hold the Shift key, and I click the second layer from the bottom down here. Now they all become selected. The other thing you could do is if you hold your Control key, you can add them one at a time. Sorry, so these four are going to be merged together. So I'm going to hit Command E on that. And it merged it. So Command E is merge. And right now, this is on normal, but I want to put this on, let's see what linear dodge looks like. Yes. So the stars come through. So I changed my layer blend mode from normal to linear dodge. And now we're almost into the last steps. So I want to kind of transform this a little bit. So I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, and Scale. And at the very top of the screen, now I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit to see my tabs here. So I hit Command minus, and I'm going to drag this down. And if I go outside the corner, actually I have to go to Edit, Transform again, and then go to Rotate. That I could rotate it. If you just were in your regular transform tools, you wouldn't have to do that. And it kind of, I got a kind of tilted thing going on there. I hit the check mark at the top or double click inside there to apply that. Now Marty does something where he uses perspective. So, and by the way, if you were in your move tool, I should have done it this way. If you're in your move tool, you can go right here and just start like clicking and dragging these things, and you automatically go into your rotate and your scaling tools. Okay. Now we're going to go to Edit, Transform, Perspective. Now to do this, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So I'm going to hit Command minus a few times. I'm going to take the corner of it and I'm going to drag it straight out. So now you'll see it kind of gives it a little different perspective. And if you play around with it, you can get like a real interesting look on this. You know what? I'm going to undo that. I think if I kept it straight first, so I'm going to rotate it back. Maybe I did this a little out of order. If you keep it, I've kind of flattened mine out for a second. I just want to see if this works better. If I go to Edit, Transform, Perspective now, this might make me feel a little bit better. Yeah, I maybe use Perspective first. So you might have to go back a few steps in your history over there. So I'm going to really drag this out pretty far wide. And I'm going to hit the check mark. And then I'm going to rotate it. Okay. And that looks pretty cool. I'm maybe scale it down a little bit so it fits into the screen. You know, it's your scene. You do whatever you want with it. And I'm going to hit the check mark. Command 0 will fit back on the screen. And the last thing Marty did was he added the bright spot in the middle, and we use a paintbrush. Make your color white. And he made his brush really big, like 600. And hardness was 0. And all he did was he clicked right out here in the middle on a new layer. So sorry. Make a new layer first. And then we're going to click right out here in the middle. Oh, that looks beautiful. And if you click on mask and you change your color to black, I'm going to make my brush smaller by hitting the bracket key. So I'm on the mask now. So we made a mask by clicking on this button in the toolbox. And why did I make a mask? So I can kind of block out the bottom of this bright light through here. So it looks like it's kind of just emanating from the center of that. And there you go. That looks pretty cool. The other thing Marty did was if you unlink that, you can actually take the light and you can move it down into the mask, which is really kind of cool. So that's it, kids. Make sure when you save, go to File, go to Save as PSD, and it should save. Mine shows up down here. You might also want to do Export as a backup, and you can export it as a JPEG or a PDF. And you can click Save for that too. And now there's two different documents. One's a JPEG and one's a Photoshop file. Remember, if you double-click a Photoshop file on your computer, if you don't have Photoshop, it's not going to want to open it unless you like download some kind of weird thing. So, you know, I would save it as JPEG for yourself. And that's it. All right. I hope that was fun for those of you that want to give this a try. And I'll talk to you soon.